Hello everyone, welcome back. We're going to Alaska today. Well, we're in Alaska today. Yes, words. Hello Allison, glad to have you here. Scotland, you have a headache. I sympathize. I hope it gets better, and I hope I can provide a relaxing watch for you while you recover. Hey Brian, glad you're here. Hello, hello. Normal 34 is here. Hope everyone's had a good weekend. I know Scotland says he's had a headache. Hopefully you find relief soon. I hope you enjoy watching the flight this time around. So we're going to have a bit of a trip. We're going to start off here in Unalaska, specifically Dutch Harbor in Cold Bay, and also Unalaska Bay. As you can see, The weather's not too bad. Scenery looks pretty nice. But it's going to get cold. So I hope you have your de-icing equipment on the ready. From here, we're going to fly to the southwest down to Nikolski Air Station on Umnak Island on the southwestern tip of it, of sorts. From there, we continue westward, finishing up the Aleutian Island chain and ending up with the Andreanof Island chain, with a stop at Atka, which is a really bush, kind of upscale bush field, as it were. You'll see when we get there. And from there we make, and that second leg, it's a hefty leg at 201 nautical miles. And our final trip of the day will end up leading us to Adak, Alaska, home of the abandoned Adak Naval Air Station. So lots of good scenery coming through, and the weather should be fairly interesting. If it gets a little too gray, we will switch it over to something a little bit easier to fly in. But I hope you enjoy the flight. It should be a fun one. Hear noise. Mr. Chippy just subscribed. Many thanks, my friend, with a tier 1 subscription. Many thanks. I do appreciate that greatly. Glad you are along. And for anyone else interested in subscribing, you can do so for free with a Twitch Prime account. So that's always a free option. Yeah, my attraction to Alaska has really grown since I met a good friend of mine who is a veteran of the United States Coast Guard. He was stationed on assigned to a cutter. I don't know what the correct word is, stationed or assigned to. He was on a cutter based out of Kodiak, Alaska, which the Murphy crew has flown in or into and out of, I suppose. He was stationed. The cutter was based there. He was assigned to the cutter, and basically, he's patrolled the waters up in this part of Alaska. Mr. Chippy says, "Always happy to give someone Amazon's money." Absolutely. Anytime you can give somebody, do that kind of route is, not a bad thing. So, we're going to get out of the sky, go down onto the ground, onto the ramp. As you can see by the windsock, we've already got quite a stiff wind going on, so it's going to be real fun. As someone's trying to give it a go now. I highly recommend something with de-icing equipment. So we are in the Cessna 208 Grand Caravan. Nice turboprop action for this bush type flying. Not to mention the fact that it's going to be cold. And it's a little faster than a 172. So we're going to go ahead and get this thing started. We're going to put standby battery, main battery on, avionics 1 on. Our levers are set. Going to set the trim. What did I say? Did I not say de-icing? It would be pretty normal for me to misspeak. Misspoke. Something along those lines. Words are hard. So, beacon is on. We set the fuel boost to start. Turn the starter on. That spool up. Ah. Helps if you turn the fuel on. So now that that's started, we fuel boost down to norm. Other avionics screen goes on. Taxi lights and nav lights are going on. Green there. And should be ready to go. I hope everybody has their beverages of choice on the ready. And it looks like we're ready to taxi. So we're gonna, if it's slow on climbing, speed brake. Yes. If it seems abnormally slow, hit the spoiler key, whichever that might be for you. Okay, we're gonna also go ahead and put some instrument panel on just for the sake of it. Turn that thing off. Make sure the CDI is on GPS. Make sure the transponder is on altitude. Here everything is hunky-dory. Condition lever to full. Torque lever to idle. Release the parking brake. Here the prop lever is full. Alright, we may have to give it a little help to get rolling. Roy Mal 9, welcome, welcome. I hope you're well. Welcome aboard to the flight. We're going to taxi down, and so we depart on runway 23. Or I think that's what it is. I could very easily be wrong. But we're going to go to this one. Put one notch of flaps in. I guess they're calling this runway 31. That's fine. Hey, Catbat, how you doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Now you'll definitely want to mind the giant mountain on the departure end of the runway. So from here, we're going to go ahead and slide that torque lever forward. We're going to reduce the prop RPMs just a little bit so we don't kill the engine before we get going. Don't forget to compensate for your crosswind. East USA. Just no airliners, no custom liveries. No aircraft from outside of the in-sim marketplace, with the exception of the L-19 Bird Dog and the MB-339. So definitely no airliner. Gonna go ahead and lamps are going up. Hey, Lukester. Awesome, my friend. I do appreciate it. I hope the Christmas setup wasn't too tasking, and I'm glad you're at least watching. So I'm very grateful. Hit the... Make sure your altimeter is set correctly. Sounds like a plan, Catbat. You're more than welcome along. So we're going to climb to the point where we're over these mountains. As we have a look outside of the airplane. Look at that. So good. Make sure that we're not going to run into a mountain or anything. Oh, there's some turbulence. Ooh, that's quite a bit of turbulence. Okay, do set. Oh, let's look at the charts. Climbing a little too steeply. You're really bouncy today. So we're going to go ahead and do some setup of the autopilot. We get out of these clouds and move over these mountains. My goodness. Alright, now that we're there, we're going to engage the autopilot, go on to nav mode. We have our altitude set at 4,500. She sure is bumpy up here. Oh, we're about at cruise altitude, so we will adjust power accordingly. Torque setting back to about where the RPMs are at. My goodness, it's bouncy. My engine settings, altitude's 4,500. Altimeter is currently 30.17. My torque, my throttle control is at 74%, RPM, propeller is at 96, and my mixture, quote unquote, mixture is full. So the torque settings are roughly around 1800 and change. Prop RPM is 1800 and change. And I think I'm going to change the weather up just a bit because this, you can't really see the ground. We're going to go to cold and crisp. Where is cold and crisp? Cool and crisp, excuse me. So cool and crisp it is. That's a much better look. So if you're using the SoFly presets, I have changed it to WPP Cool and Crisp, because it also gives the ground a little bit of snow. It is nice. In Murphy's bonus stream earlier today, I had it switched on this weather setting, and it was quite beautiful to see a white island in snow, a winter wonderland. Pretty neat. And I kind of figured that Alaska being, well, Alaska, where it is in the world as it is, geographically, I can imagine it having some snow right about now. I can neither confirm nor deny it. So since I changed the weather, I'm going to double check my engine settings. drop the RPMs a little bit, and I'm going to drop the torque a little bit more. And I'm going to drop the altitude on the autopilot to 2,500 because, well, why not? Get a nice low and slow look at things, and if it gets too windy down there, we can always go back up. So we are basically on the westernmost part of all of the United States. Well, all of the states of the United States. There is an extra airport at the very, very tip of the island chains. That airport is, according to the charts, Casco Cove in Navy Town on Massacre Bay. I kid you not. Attu Island. So that's interesting. Let's look at the site of that. And it's just morning over in this part of Alaska right now. The sun is just coming up. How about that? So the island we're heading to is right here. We're gonna just miss these mountain or old volcanoes. I like the little touches how you can see the water currents in the water. It may not come across on stream very well, but the different ripples in the water is just that's just, to me, it's just cool. It's just those little finishing touches. Yeah, when I tested this out, it ended up being towards the evening time, and it was stunning. That is correct. I should be down. Should be on the way. I'm just passing through 3,200 feet. Temperature's getting cold. Reading 9 below Celsius. Just amazing, the scenery up here. And now we're getting the reflection of the land and the water. Absolutely incredible. So as we pass on by, might be this landmass up here is reportedly, according to the charts, Mount Okmok in the Tulik volcano. And this is the Umnak Island, as we are actually flying over the Umnak Pass. So that's some fairly interesting stuff right there, as we see the mountains behind us. That is the I'm probably gonna butcher this, the Makushin volcano right here. Hey Bad Dog, how are you doing? I'm doing fairly well. We're flying in Alaska. Correct. ESE, East USA, it should be. I will go into, yeah, East USA. You may have to turn off and turn back on your multiplayer in the settings. He's a good dog. My Owen Wilson is not nearly as good as Murphy's is. I also think I'm a little bit ahead of everybody. Unintentionally. I look at it, it'll give me the time to land and catch everybody's landings. So, since I am getting somewhat close to the airfield, I'm going to start looking up some airport information. So, Papa Alpha Kilo Oscar. Wow, there's no charts for this airfield. So we have a runway 8 and a runway 26. We do Oscar. Try to get METAR. There's no METAR available. So I think that oh, maps, all the maps. We're gonna go to Bing Maps. Gonna look Nikolski. And this is going to be one of them bush adventures. It looks like we're going to be landing to the landing on runway 26. So plan for runway 26. The only thing I ask when you smash the like button, don't physically do it, use your mouse, because if you try to smash the like button with your fist, it's just going to break your monitor, and that's just a bad day. So highly recommend using your mouse to click it on the screen. And just look at this. I mean, the scenery is just amazing. What I can do with their own cam. This would definitely be a very pretty place to visit. Water is a very wonderful. And it's just, can you imagine just coming up here and spending like a week hiking and camping and kind of getting away from everything for a while? Sounds like something I really need to do. Go on a nice rural wilderness vacation or holiday. Now the question is becoming, I should be able to clear that terrain just fine. Let me consult the chart. Oh yes, I should be quite fine. So, up here, just before this set of mountains, there's a bay, and it is called Russian Bay. Okay, wind is from the west up here, but I am also not on live weather. We are planning for runway 26. I am running the preset from SoFly that is titled Cool and Crisp. Well, lo and behold, I see USA PR1 on the Sim Toolkit Pro. Actually, I see him twice. That's interesting. They're not mash the screen every time. Yeah, I mean, when you punch your screen and then it goes black, and then it's just, you know, that's just a bad day. Don't want to do that. So I believe this that we're going past right now, right here, of course, Bing isn't giving it to me. It is the Partov Cove, and this is Thumb Point. Makes this right here Russian Bay. As we check behind us. Yeah, I've officially lost everybody, so I apologize for being so far ahead. I have a sinking feeling that this is about to get awfully bumpy as I go over this terrain. Ah, that's good. Well, how's it working for you? I don't know much about Raspberry Pi stuff, but 160 true airspeed. My true airspeed's 162, so I'm only going slightly faster. Nice. Now, what all can you do on it? Is it more useful for stuff like, you know, general web surfing or watching YouTube or Twitch, that sort of thing, or what all can be done on it? We start going over the bumps in Umnak Island. Control lighting on your TV. Well, that's a fancy TV in and of itself. Wow. Ow. Oh, it's a Linux machine. You can do all that. Yes, still play 4K video and you can connect hardware to output pins. Oh, that's nice. I've never messed with Linux, so I have no idea what Linux is like. So these two peaks, the first one that you'll come across is Mount Roshenoi, Rechenoi, and then the second one, which is the taller peak, that one, is Mount Vezidoff, Vesevidof. So I've probably butchered that, but as I say, it's a service I provide at no extra charge. And we're about to fly over soon-ish Lookout Point, which is somewhere in this vicinity. We go back into the cockpit, and we're approximately 4 minutes out. Well, I'm approximately 4 minutes out, as I've seemingly left everyone else in the dust. I can only imagine that the airfield's right in this area. So I'm going to go ahead and that's the button I wanted. We want Heading bug. Gotcha, gotcha. So we're gonna put the heading, go to heading mode. 26, that's 150. Oh, 6, no, 170. Heading mode 170-ish. Well, that's good to know. I didn't completely leave everybody in the dust. Just a little bit ahead. Just enough time to get landed, get set up, and watch everyone else's landing at the time. There. It was all planned ahead of time. I planned it that way. Yes, because I'm smart like that. But that might be it. And this one's liking to go ahead and turn to I'm sure you'll do fine. If you can fly the 172, you can fly the 208, so you should be just fine. As my dad is off to say, the Caravan is basically a 170, or just a big 172. I prefer to just phrase it as it's a 172 on steroids. The main difference really is just the type of engine it is, the flight, the way it flies. It's pretty similar to a 172. So it's docile and forgiving. Okay, so that's it right there. That's got to be it. So, go ahead and disable the autopilot. Prop and mixed condition lever go forward. Throttle comes out, or the torque, say. Put that on idle. Between trim and S turns and probably a good old slip, get slowed down. A good old slip. Yep, there's the beacon. Center my view, so I'm looking correctly.
500.
Thanks, Linda. Be prepared to use your reversers if you got them set. That wasn't too bad. Get to the far end of the runway here. Little cozy town on the island. And throw the flaps up. Go ahead and set the parking brake. We're gonna do a low idle. Get back in. We've got somebody. I should probably turn on some name tags, huh? Might be nice. So first up we have Alley Cats. We're gonna pull a Murph. Because this is a pretty epic angle for landings. And we watch everyone. The guess is my landing velocity. So I'm kind of surprised that was such a hard landing. So you would type in exclamation point predict and then a negative number. Got somebody overhead. There's Alley Cats. And we're down right on the center line. Well done. Somebody's overhead. Who do we got? We have Dangerous Brian in the caravan. Looking good so far. Nicely done, Brian. Yep, that would be correct. In the TBM, we have Catbat 9 with a very nice landing. I see Some more landers in the coming in the approach. Just great scenery, just in and of itself. If we're being honest. That's just a hill. Mountain peeking over a hill. We have USA PR1 next up. Reposition the camera. Hear him. In the King Air. Hope you got enough runway. Bad dog, and I'm not sure. Very well done. Well done. It's like USA PR1 managed to pull it off. Probably reverses in full effect. Can't tell if that's an inbound aircraft or if that's the King Air. They had somebody else coming in. Yep, Roy Mal. It is Papa Alpha Kilo Oscar, also known as Nikolski Air Station. It is pretty. It is pretty. Roger that. Sorry I missed the landing, but welcome to the airport. Right, so that's not the button I wanted. That's the button I wanted. That's. I'm hitting all the wrong buttons. I do believe Allison needed a moment, which is fine. And she's just returned. So, if we're all set, go ahead and start taxiing down to the runway on which we landed. Our next stop will be Papa Alpha Alpha Kilo. Papa Alpha Alpha Kilo. Safe altitude for the trip is going to be 4,500. We might have to make a small divert around Mount Cleveland. So if we get back into the cockpit here, do a direct to, and hopefully this works. Papa Alpha. Nope, it doesn't want to work. Well, so I'm gonna have to back into the menu a minute. I think they need the G1000 mod needs a bit of an update. So I will back momentarily onto the tarmac. Yeah, the 172. It's not for this trip. You're gonna not want the 172. Oh, much of a disappointing parking spot. Well. PADK Atka. Sure that we have everything set as we want them. Crisp, time, fly. So, make sure that we get our our fun stuff set up. So we'll set the AP for 4,500 feet. Vertical speed of 500 feet per minute. Diameter set. That's all going strong, so we don't have to worry about freezing. That off, transponder. All right. We shall be going. Release the parking brake, condition lever forward, torque lever forward. And effortless liftoff. We'll go ahead and proceed en route as soon as I get my flaps up. That's 300 feet. Flaps are going up. And now autopilot is engaged. And this leg is going to be the absolute longest leg of the trip. And we're going to anticipate runway 34 for landing. Runway 34. Okay. And right away you can see, let's see, what's the name of that mountain? That mountain is not named. But this is the Island of Four Mountains that we're looking at. There's four mountains. You have 1, 2, 3, and 4. Honestly, it looks like it has 5, but that's just my opinion. Not 6. What do I know? It has 5 primary islands in this little grouping. We get out. Well, gosh, I think I can boost that vertical speed up to about 1,000 feet a minute. And I think we'll be just fine. Let's see, what's the name of that mountain? Because it's going to bug me until I figure out what it is. Black Peak, that first one, and right after that is Mount Cleveland. Got a couple of fireflies in sight. Climbing, climbing, climbing. Let's see. There's Black Peak, Mount Cleveland, Herbert Island. Doesn't tell me the name of the... Looks like a volcano on it. Let's see. There's Mount Carlisle. There's the Kagamil volcano. And then there's an unnamed one. At least according to Bing Maps. So, I'm going to have to make a slight course adjustment. Going to head to 230 for a little bit. Just so we don't plow into the mountains. Going to go ahead and back down some of these power settings. Should be fine. So that's Mount Cleveland right there. I think that's the... Oh, and another ones. Okay, that should be a good deviation. We'll go back to 250. And I think I've gotten way out ahead of everybody once more. Which is fine. Yeah. Hey, look, we got the moon too. Well, geez, I needed a lot. I love when I make random jokes on Discord or whatnot and people get it. Yes, Runway 34 will be the one we're anticipating. I mean, these islands, they'd be really neat to visit, but I don't know as to that I'd want to live there. For a fair number of reasons. One, you know, you're on an island surrounded by water, which presents several challenges. The least of which include everything you need needs to be imported by boat or plane. And that makes things exponentially more expensive. Just ask the residents of Hawaii. The winters would be brutal, as another point. Not to mention dealing with the not so much tropical storms, but, you know, storms such as hurricanes and such, typhoons. Man, I lost everybody again, didn't I? I even slowed down. I'm a bad flight leader. I lost the squadron. I guess my TAS is still quite high. "64 minutes. I'm at 62. Okay, so it's back to I'm a couple minutes ahead. Yeah, I'll maintain a slower speed than you guys to give you a chance to catch up a little bit. Look at the state of that. That's just would this not be a fun place to hike and to visit and just have a wilderness week? Fair enough. I wouldn't say I'm proficient in the 208, but I've dedicated quite a bit of time just to learning it because I like the airframe. I like what it can do. I like that it flies, quite similarly to the 172. Very forgiving. The hardest part's been learning the G1000 and the turbofan or the turboprop engine. Those have been the main challenges of learning the 208 for me. Yeah, I would love to, and actually some of my friends, including my Coast Guard buddy, have really thrown out the idea the last few years to actually make a trip up to Adak, Alaska for a week and do a bunch of stuff there. Camp out. You can rent buildings out and whatnot cheap. Problem is, from where I'm at, it's like a $2,000 round trip. If I remember, it's either 2,000 round trip or a bit more than that. Just because, I myself, I have to fly all the way across the continental U.S. to like Washington. Then I have to fly all the way out to Alaska, which is probably a couple more stops. So it is not a cheap flight. And ADAC only gets flights in and out 1 day a week. So making things a bit more complicated to plan. Okay, we're going to go back to nav mode. But it's definitely on my bucket list of places to go visit and spend like a week there. And I'm grateful for Flight Sim being the way it is. I know the other night we were on Murphy's voice chat talking about like the differences between X-Plane and this, and how Laminar Research or the guy that owns it doesn't like the idea of using satellite imagery for the ground because of baked-in clouds and blah blah blah. It's like, as much as I get that, as a VFR pilot, it's nice to have the actual visual representation of an area for navigation. It's huge. So I love having that available. And then because doing flights like this where it's probably going to be quite some time before I'm able to do this sort of thing. Go to these kind of places, but I can get a good visual representation of what it might, or what it's kind of like to be there. Yeah, it's huge to have the satellite imagery because it also helps with the placing of buildings and this and that, and it's an invaluable and priceless thing for those of us that don't go into IFR flying, to where we're just using instruments, and that sort of thing. Where those of us are looking for those visual landmarks of, hey, I know where that neighborhood is in relation to where I'm going, or stuff like that. And it's never been done. I've heard wonderful things about the ortho scenery for like X-Plane and to some degree FF6, but that's extra money on top of the sim. Whereas with Microsoft Flight Sim, this is out of the box. Yeah, and that's the other thing. With even as big as the install for Microsoft Flight Simulator is, being able to stream in a lot of that satellite imagery, I mean, it's mind-boggling, how it does it. And, and I can, as somebody that's been kind of an old, I don't know, I guess I'm a bit crotchety about it on a lot of things about, I wish this and that didn't require an internet connection. The fact of the matter is, in most places in the modern day, have a connection to the internet that's just a constant internet connection. And that's just being realistic. And granted, and being able to pre-cache stuff is, awesome, even though the process itself takes forever. Kind of wish there was a utility that could do the pre-caching stuff, or the manual caching stuff, outside of the sim, and that made it a lot easier to do that sort of thing. But it's just the way this is right out of the box, and sure, it has its issues. The systems and such aren't modeled as well as they should be or could be, but that's just a matter of time before Microsoft and Asobo get that sorted out, because between feedback from the community, feedback from third-party devs, feedback from manufacturers, and so on, and then the end user anyway, they're going to get it nailed down. So judging it as just something out of the box, it's amazing, and VFR pilots have never had it this good out of the box, and that's, to me, is just fantastic. I'll get off my soapbox now. Yeah, no, exactly. Oh, 100%. It's we've been kind of going on about the community. Just the I've not been a part of an online community that's been as wonderful and mind settling and mind putting my mind at ease, so to speak, as the community that between that's really kind of been centered around Murphy, Two-Tone Murphy. It's a wonderful thing, really. It's a lot of caring, kind people willing to help out, and donate time and energy to help other people get up and running, and that sort of thing. It's just it's nuts, but in a good way. It's really refreshing, especially with the way the year has been and continues to be to certain degrees. It's been a wonderful bit of fresh air to be able to have good times with good people, and it's only going to get better. Hey, Keen, how you doing? Okay, that's kind of trippy. Nope, no baggage compartment. Hey, War Hamster, welcome along. Glad you could join us. Oh, we got lights. Yes, how many days until Pancake Tuesday? Pardon me while I play around with the drone cam, because it's probably one of my favorite features of Flight Sim is the drone camera, because it's a powerful tool for screenshots and stuff. Pardon me. $102 until Pancake Tuesday and 190 until Eurovision. A Wild Murphy has appeared. It used Diddly Idle and it was super effective. How you doing, Murph? It's like Beetlejuice, but a little more Irish. I'm doing pretty good. I hope you are well. I hope you had a great dinner or supper or whatever it is you refer to your evening meal as. I kind of use dinner and supper interchangeably for the most part. Yes, did you get pizza after all? Allison's been doing all of the flying this weekend, it seems. Oh, and you missed some of the mountains, but just wait until we get to once we hit Atka, it gets better. So the question is, when does Allison start doing her own flight sim streams? When do the Fireflies join her on stream? Oh, I find myself to be awfully boring, and yet you all join me in the stream, so I'm sure that with this community you shall be able to get many followers, and it shall grow. But that's just one person's opinion. That's exactly it, Catbat. It's all about flying with the group. Well, I appreciate that. I try to keep things nice and relaxed, but throw in a little knowledge here and there, a little bit of history. At some point, we're going to go back to Michigan because I want to show off some local scenery that has been done by third-party freeware stuffs. Hey, G Slayer, how are you doing? We're checking out Alaska. See, there you go. And that's awesome. Good to hear. Good to hear. So these two islands, what are they called? So this first is Chagalak, Shugalak Island, and that's Amukta Island. And then where the water beyond between this island out yonder and this one is the Amukta Pass. Apologies, my dad stepped in. So, where was I? In Alaska. So this island is Zigguam Island. And I'm just absolutely murdering these names. I'm not very good at it. Yeah, this is probably this has got to be the longest longest single leg that I've done on stream thus far, and it's just I think it's 201 nautical miles. So everybody make sure that you've got enough fuel, because it's gonna be a factor for sure. And I don't think I filled up my tanks properly either already, so that should be the 400 and... Oh, I should be good. Fuel flow. Pounds per hour. That's over an hour. Got 40 minutes on this leg. That's not too bad. Tiger's in the tank. Very well. Very good. If Red Bull gives you wings and an airplane already has wings, does it make any airplane, if you put Red Bull into an airplane, does it make it a biplane? Yeah, we're big happy community, and I'm happy to be a part of it. That's probably why I didn't get it, because I don't believe we have ESO over here. Or at least not by that name, anyhow. We have Exxon, Shell, Mobil. In the rare places we have Texaco, Clark, Citgo, and probably a bunch of others that I may not know. Sunoco. I think Unocal 76 is still around in some of the southern parts of the United States. Cal 76. But not ESO as far as I'm aware. Marathon. I don't know about... I've never heard of apple green other than the color. Circle K, we do have them. So yes, we do have Exxon, we do not have ESO, so that would... They're the same company, just different branding. That makes sense. can see lights. BP, we have BP. It's another one. If I recall, is British Petroleum. Standard Oil. I think I've heard that before. Or heard of that before. Could be wrong. I could just be hallucinating, which is wouldn't surprise me in the least bit. Now the really interesting thing here is, let's see, what does the clock, local time clock say? So it says it's just 10 to 10 in the morning local time. And the sun isn't that high off the horizon. That's a neat screenshot and a half. And it's a wonderful thing to be a part of the community and have the community. And the fact that we're as tight knit as we are, and when someone's not around for a while, we notice. There's the thing for petrol station. It's really a sponsor thing. That could go a couple of different ways there, War Hamster. Anglo-American Oil Company in 1888. Wow. That's funny, War Hamster. That's funny. Hey, Vetty, how you doing? Welcome along to the stream. We're flying in Alaska. Places in Alaska that have only a handful of daylight. Yeah, that's 100% true. Certain parts of the year they can go. I wish my buddy was here to kind of, because he was up there. There sometimes where you could go and this is like maybe an hour of daylight and it's dark. And yeah, I'm glad you did, Vetty. We're in the cold northern reaches in the just past the Aleutian Islands in Alaska, heading towards the Andreanof Islands. Andreanof Islands? Yeah. We are on our way to Atka. ATKA Island. We're actually getting awfully close to Seguin Island, which is this island right here. I hope you're having a good weekend. Or at the very least, making the best of it you can. Flying with some fireflies in the background there. Our friend War Hamster, our aerobatics extraordinaire, is wandering around somewhere. I'm having some fun with the drone camera. As I can. Well, War Hamster, you can't let it beat you. Self-loading cargo app. I've heard of it. I don't think I've used it. But the name rings a bell. Can't say as I've heard any input on it off the top of my head. That's not a bad price, as long as it's does the things that people want it to do. We're flying this. I've probably flown the King Air twice since the same came out. Sim came out. I think the one time that I spent any time with it was when we were flying with Murphy in Latvia, that neck of the woods, somewhere around there. Oh, nice. Usually I just turn around and throw the food at him and say, here you go. Take an MRE and be happy. Got everything you need in it. But it does seem like an interesting program for sure. See, how much longer on this leg do we have? Half an hour. There's nothing wrong with the right MRE. Chili Mac was always my favorite. Although I've not yet tried the one that came out a couple of years ago, the pizza one. $32.20. Okay, so you're a couple minutes behind me yet. I've slowed my speed a little bit to allow everyone to catch up a little. Ooh, that was a good one. The one I will never ever, if I can avoid it, is the beef enchilada. That one made me. That did not agree with my system at all. Then again, I had it cold, so that can't help anything. I don't think I've ever had a warm MRE. Come to think of it. It always took away from the heating packs in basic. Vetty with the host. Many thanks, my friend. Got a lot of water out this way. Let's see, I think we're south of the Bering Sea. That could just be the Pacific Ocean. I guess we're still in the Aleutian Islands. Nope. Technically, we're in the Bering Sea. How about that? Because at least according to the charts, the Bering Sea is on the northern side of these islands, which is this side, and the Pacific Ocean is labeled on the south side. Granted, it's all the same big body of water, so that's just a little bit interesting. Remember, the heating packs came out a year after I was imported from Desert Shield or Storm. Oof. Well, on the upside, them being kind of frozen makes them slightly easier to eat, I guess, depending on the one you got. I think a lot of people forget that the desert gets freezing cold at night. Oh, good night. That's a good question. Well, and our final destination today is the Adak Naval Air Station that was abandoned a number of years ago. I have one of my close friends was in the Coast Guard and was on a cutter up in that neck of the woods, and he had been to Adak a couple of times. I should be okay on. Last thing I want to do is be the streamer that runs out of gas on the trip. Yeah, I should be fine. 26 minutes and 800 pounds of fuel on board. Yeah, we got this. I wonder if let's see. Bear with me one moment. Let's see if this works. Let's hope it works. Trying a thing, and that's usually when things break. See what happens. Yeah, we've got friends. Now maybe center. It should be East USA. That's not what the button I wanted. That's not the button. Did it. So hopefully this one works.
Report 8004 Anchorage Tower, RVR more than 6,000, runway 33, clear for takeoff. Takeoff runway 33, report 8004. Station 146, show up, golf, cross runway 7 left, T Romeo, contact ground. Left, golf to Romeo, then ground.
Cessna and heavy anchored ground. Stand by moment. Maybe it's like a Migo all the way up.
Overlays. I have all the overlays. Airspeed this thing is blast to spare down. I'm at 152 indicated, 159 TAS, Warhamster. I do have friends in high places. I have friends in low places. And I have friends in average places too. So, inquiring minds, this is
on the other side of 33.
Anchorage, delivery ground, tower, and approach.
I'm going to CPS over to Yankee. CPS man, heavy home short on my 33 at Tango and contact out.
Thanks to liveatc.net. No, Murphy tried out a plugin for, was it FS-ATC chatter, and I thought it was awfully interesting, but I couldn't find the one for Flight Sim, and so I'm just streaming some live ATC.
900, climbing 4,000. Hey, flight 8004, departure, radar contact, expect light top climb and maintain flight level 200. Flight level 200, flight 8004.
So there we have Atka. We have the island in sight, or as you could say, land ho. Oh, we got someone down there. Got a friend there, and a friend there. Like a couple of friends right here.
Flight 8004, 4,600, climbing to 0.
What island is that? That's Amlia Island. So that's Amlia Island, and that is Atka. So we are definitely getting close. I'm about 20 minutes out. Holding steady on altitude and speed. Altimeters as well. Catbat with the $50 donation. Holy crap, thank you, my dude. I don't know what to say. You have my sincere gratitude, my friend. It's definitely not a requirement, but I do really appreciate it, my friend. That's very kind and generous of you. I don't know what to say. Well, I appreciate that. I really do, and I appreciate the kind words. That's real awesome of you. Many thanks. Hey, Sentry, how you doing? Long time no see. Welcome along. We're flying in Alaska. Ooh. I was going to say that's War Hamster, but War Hamster's in the King area. That could be a Wild Murphy, for all I know, about the name tags on.
Got 4316 heavy anchor ground, runway 33.
Oh, it is you.
And
That's weird. Usually when it puts it in the King Air, it's in a. It shows a twin.
Southbound spot, I see the aircraft and
I don't have any aircraft going into Sierra right now. So you can go ahead and hold short runway 33 at Sierra though, and verify you have information Sierra.
Very nice, very nice. Kind of components you looking at?
Oh yeah, that aircraft, I'm showing them on my other ground display clear. Sure, yeah, behind him you can continue to hold short runway 33 at
Driftwood Bay Airport. Driftwood Bay Airport. No, we're going to Atka, and then from there we're going to Adak. Radeon RX 580 for graphics, Ryzen 5 3400G for processors. That's a good processor. I don't know much about the graphics card, but it can't be too bad. As long as it does the things that you want it to, that's what's important.
For 7198 heavy ground for my 33 taxi vehicle kilo.
Runway 33, thanks to Golf Kilo Naval 719. Taxi report, anchorage down, limit 5, maintain 4,000. Approach frequency 118.6, squawk 34.
It's amazing how the radio chatter does add to the immersion of flying.
Special frequency 118.6, squawk 3, full forward, advance 527. Correct.
Well, I'd like to do a couple of shout outs real quick. I don't know. Friend suggested the RX 570, but they were sold out, so I got the. Gotcha. Now I'm using an RX 5600 XT AMD card.
On the Romeo for the north ramp.
No, it's actually just liveatc.net. I want to do a couple of shout outs real quick.
Alright, RBR is more than 6,000.
Because if you like my content, you're going to like their content. Oops, I did those wrong. So, let's try that. Make sure that one.
We will and above 2,000 cleared ILS run semi-approach.
Hey, that worked. Helps when I put the right commands in. But if you enjoy my content, you'll enjoy these people's content, and join their Discord servers. Have a blast. You're very welcome. if you enjoy my content, join their Discords. You know, follow them on streaming platforms. My friend Sentry. Goodness, I can't remember the spell. They're all good folks and playing different things, and they're good people, and go give them some follows and some love, and tell them the Colonel sent you. Hey, we got a TBM. Warp speed. They went straight to Plaid. So the airfield's going to be right in about this area. And I'm glad somebody got the reference. Yeah, take your time, Sentry, to get back into streaming. It's going to be even better once you get your new computer up and running. Not to be punny or anything, but you know, with my PC, my streaming has really taken off. Among a few other reasons. But yeah, take your time and do it the way you want to do it, and the people will come. You know, I've been very, very blessed and fortunate to get into the community of Two-Tone Murphy. No, we have one more leg because this is Atka, and then we have a short leg. Well, short-ish. It's a we have a 92 nautical mile leg to Adak. It certainly did. And all I've really done is wing it. No worries, Catbat. Yep, the next leg is 92 nautical miles at a heading of 253 degrees from Atka to Adak. as long as I keep grounded in reality. So once we get on the ground and everybody gets landed, which I will film. Isn't that a funny saying nowadays? I'm going to film, as if most of our cameras have film in them anymore. Record everyone's landing. I don't know. Clouds are a good place for me. I just hope they just don't hope it doesn't crash. Interesting software. Software? What software? What? I'm confused. Not that that's hard to do. It's easy to confuse me. But I will... once we get on the ground, I will film... Yeah, I did it again. Record everyone's landing. Just make sure that you get your fuel, get a drink, take a trip to the F terminal building. No, that's atc.net. You could just open your browser and listen to live air traffic control at an airport local to you or close to you. So that's all it really is. There is a program that Two-Tone Mr. Murphy showcased Friday when we were flying in Greece, and it was pretty slick. But this is just straight live air traffic control. Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, this is just I opened up a web browser. I am interested in the software for sure, though. Gotcha.
south on Romeo.
I don't think I had heard of it until he put it on the Discord and then had it on the stream. But it's definitely interesting the level of immersion it gives. Okay, so what we're gonna do, going to 240, switch over to heading mode, because we're gonna want runway 34. Yep, runway 34, that's what we're gonna want. Field elevation is about 55 feet. The elevation of the approach end of runway 33 is 34 is 33 feet.
Runway 33, taxi via Golf Kilo, verifying you back. You said in Kilo, thanks.
So I'm going to go ahead and adjust my power settings back. I'm going to decrease the altitude to 1,500 feet. Put a vertical speed and go 800 feet a minute.
Runway 7 right wind is 07087. Giant 4316 heavy engine right up approved. Runway 33 clear for takeoff.
7198 heavy turn left heading 260.
Should be this area right over here.
FedEx 193 heavy down for your discussion. Runway 33 of information Kilo. 926 heavy.
Good afternoon.
Runway 33. Taxi via. Where are you coming out of?
Turn that down just a hair. Of course, if anything is too loud or too quiet, feel free to say something, and I will do my best to adjust. So I consult my charts. Actually, looking at the map, the airfield's going to be out more in this area. Because it's kind of tucked in, and this is Nazan Bay. We'll just keep this heading for right now. See how it goes. They really nailed the water. Yeah. No, it looks fantastic. Abnormal 34 with the Tier 1 subscription. 3-month anniversary. And I'm glad you enjoy the streams. I enjoy putting them on. 250 should put us on a base leg, in theory.
Archer at 4360, passing 1,300, climb 4,000. 4360, heavy anchor departure, radar contact clear, direct nodal, climb and maintain, flight level 200. Direct hit nodal, climb flight level 200, giant 4360.
For me. They've done quite a bit, a number of very good leaps in just the visual fidelity of a flight sim. And I'm sure once they get all the systems figured out, it's going to be, stupendous. It's going to be tremendous. Speed. I'm gonna go ahead and just go full prop. Yeah. Well, Windows Flight Sim 95 was great for its day, and then I just remember the progression from 95 to 98 to skip 2000, then went to 2002. Then to 2004, and then to Flight Sim X. That'd be it right there, I think. Yep, that should be the runway right there. But we want to aim for that little itty bitty house. Like we are. Awesome. So we get we're gonna go ahead and just turn off the autopilot, make sure all our systems are set and ready to go. I'm gonna put our torque lever to idle. We're going to, at least have readable text. Oh, for sure. Once you get your new PC up and running, Sentry, you'll be good with Flight Sim X. And I would hazard a bet that you might be able to run this, at least to some degree. No, there really isn't. Water is kind of on both ends. So, flaps 1. Compensate. Press forward on the yoke. Use that. Use trim. Landing lights come on. Head flaps 2. Not gonna have the greatest of approaches, but that's okay. At full flaps, I am. And get your reversers handy, people, because it's gonna be not the longest runway. Not short, but it's not exactly Edwards Air Force. Sorry for the quiet, I'm just concentrating. A little bit of a crosswind. Torque lever goes to off. We're down. A little bit of a bounce. Okay, and we're going to exit the runway now. Put that to there. So, parking brake is set. Set our condition lever to low idle. Go ahead and put some name tags on. It's Papa Alpha Alpha Kilo. That back. There we go. Get ourselves set up on the runway. That should do it. And the runway is open.
Heavy crosswheel at above 2,000, clear ILS right center approach, maintain 210 knots or greater until we will.
And first up is Alley Cat. Right on the center line. Nice landing. Very nice landing, Allison. Next up is Fast Pete. Very nice. Very nice landing.
Second.
Heavy, contact departure.
Departure 9926 Heavy.
Okay.
Departure 9926 Heavy, 1,000, 1,000. 9926 Heavy, departure radar contact, Peter, express lane time maintained, flight level 200. 78200, 7926. Yukon 1783, turn right heading 200 for the sequence. Right heading 200, Yukon 1783.
So we should be getting some more folks landing here early. I'm afraid to move the camera.
Where are you heading next?
Alaska 94, contact Anchor Center, 119.7, navigate.
Runway 7 left ILS, critical area.
King 1 Bravo, turn right heading 080, and contact Anchor Center, 119.7.
We got Jet Tech down there. Dangerous Brian is in the bay. Bad Dog. There's Warhamster. Catbat and Two-Tone Murphy in the distance. So they're coming in. We'll get positioned again.
1783, 6,800, descended 3,000, heading 236.
9906 Heavy, anchor chart, engine run up approved, runway 33, clear for takeoff, expected gain and loss up to 10 knots on departure. Wind center from current.
So we're up and ready. We got overhead. Catbat in the TBM. Very nice landing. There's Murphy over the numbers. Right on the center line. Well done.
Reported light to moderate turbulence from 17,000 up to flight level 200. Well, yeah, 29.
Anchorage ground, DI3 is clear to the east group.
067.
Cathay 2871 heavy anchorage, expect line 7 left.
And Warhamster next up. Give him the float for to avoid traffic. Still floating. Who we got next? Who we got next? Bad Dog. A Bad Dog with a good landing. Nicely done. Warhamster's going around.
Decon 1583, turn left, name 160. 9926 heavy contact anchor center of 123.9.
And Dangerous Brian in the Caravan. You got it, Brian. I believe in you. Brian's going around. Going with the second attempt. Got Warhamster. Brian. We'll get the position because we're just about ready for everybody. Whoa. Too much. So as soon as our remaining two friends get down, we will fill up our fuel tanks. We will fill up our cups, and we shall make sure that we use the facilities here at Atka for our last leg into Adak. Yeah, great landings so far today. Zero problems. Very well done by all. Warhamster in. Nicely done. Very nicely done. And here comes Brian with attempt number 2. And we're down. Nicely done, everyone. Nicely done. So everyone takes a moment, make sure they have fuel, make sure they have something to drink. I will return momentarily for the last leg. All right, so we're gonna turn some things back off. So we are going to take off on the runway that we landed on, so runway 34. We've refilled the tanks. Now I just need to file the flight plan with Sim Toolkit Pro. Okay. Now let's see if this will let me. Oh, so I'm going to have to exit out again and reload into a new airplane. Well, not a new airplane, but you know what I mean. Go from in a caravan. Well, simple departure. I'm gonna do the naughty thing and start on the active runway. Actually, I'm not. I can't do it. I can't do it. So, K for arrival. Weight and balance. Thanks, just because. And hit fly. And landing runway will be runway 5 when we reach Adak. Correction, runway 23.
TOS system test. Okay.
That's where it needs to be. Maybe off. That off. Something seems to have gone amiss. There we go. Alright, whenever you guys are ready, take off and do a circuit, and I'm making my way to the active as we speak. Cleared for takeoff, everyone. I'm on my way. And we're off the ground. Well, I'll do a right-hand circuit. Actually, I take that back. We'll do a left-hand turn. Flaps are coming up. Look at that. Look at that. You can't look at that and tell me that's not cool looking. That EDI altitude. So we're going to want 4,500. 500%. I've got a big black box on the back of me. I have a cape. I have a weird cape. Oh, it's gone. It flew off. So I'm going to kind of do a lazy circle and let people gather. I was being super caravan. Da-da-da-da. So we're circling real fast in. This is Korovin Bay. Korovin Bay. Right. Yeah. Go back over here, not confuse ourselves, turn half bank on, and we're going to go ahead and activate the autopilot. Here it's on nav mode and everything's reading correct. So altitude on autopilot is set to 4,500 feet. Nav mode, half bank. Turn on course-ish. Well, we continue our turn to intercept the magenta line that will put us on course, and as we gain altitude. There's that thing again. Nothing else, it allows for other people to be first. So we're almost on at cruise altitude, so we'll go ahead and start adjusting our settings. Too much. Slowly adjust our power setting. There we go. Beautiful place this is. And I could get lost and not be terribly upset over it for a short time up here. Such a wonderful place to visit, man. One day it'd be really awesome to visit this area. It's just so beautiful. And as we say, I bet my Coast Guard buddy says the same. There's so many islands that he wanted to visit and hasn't visited when he was on the cutter up there. But as we say farewell to Atka, we follow this chain and we look into the distance and see Adak. Got someone peeling off to the left. War hamster up to our right. It's absolutely beautiful. I mean, and even realizing that this is all just what the graphical representation of it, and it'll never do, at least with the technology of today, could never really, we're not at holodeck levels of, this sort of thing yet, but it can't be that far off. Because it's just awesome. And TBM zooming through. Yeah, it cannot be that far off from the real thing. I mean, with the lighting, the reflections, even the weather when it wants to cooperate. even the weather when it doesn't want to cooperate. It's just nuts. Yeah, you're like Sonic. You gotta go fast. I won't hold you back. I mean, if you really want to do loops, do laps between ADAC and Alaska, ADAC and Atka, by all means. Do not let me discourage you from doing that. It's just stunning. I mean, I really don't have all of the words to really adequately. What's the word? Yeah, there's just words. It's nuts. It's just absolutely crazy. All the friends. It's such a great. I mean, this sim has just done such great things. It's provided a relaxing thing to enjoy. Provided people to like-minded people to come together and carve out a really nice community that's just easygoing and just similar interest. And that sun has not gotten any higher. So, we are 24 minutes out, give or take. Indicating about 154 knots with a TAS of 161. Altimeter setting is 2931. We're going to go ahead and turn the no smoking. So far, I haven't seen any evidence of icing, which is awesome. Just look at the view. It is something else. Absolutely breathtaking. Well, I'm glad they're glad you're enjoying it, Roy Mal. Glad you got your controls figured out. And Keen, it was good having you along. I hope you have a great evening. And we shall see you tomorrow and on Discord, of course. And you stay safe out there. So as a reminder, we're looking at runway 23 for landing once we reach Adak. We have lights out in the distance behind us, lights in the distance ahead of us. We have our own little chain going conga line through the Aleutian Island. So this little island right here is something I can't pronounce, but it's a little nice little island. This island is Kazatochi, something like that. Interesting note about wrong way. This little island, on the chart, the aeronautical chart, it says magnetic disturbance of more than 10 degrees on the island and as much as 7 degrees at distance of 2 miles have been observed. So that is an interesting note. Then this mountain right off here isn't named on the charts, but that is Great Sitkin Island. And from there, what we're going to want to do, once we get a beam of this mountain, we're going to end up turning 270 to get on direct path of the runway. Because the runway is going to be right over here. If we get back in the cockpit, we could almost do that now. Sure. That's centered, that's centered. Well, that's interesting. Compass is wrong. That's concerning. So, as we continue to chart out, we could actually get away with making that 270 turn now, I think. Heading mode. That'll put us directly over that island, which should, in theory, put us on a good track for the runway. Or it might run us into the mountain, I'm not entirely sure. So we may just go 260. Until just past the mountain. Because the last thing we want to do is become a lawn dart. I mean, it's like the old saying: anybody can jump out of an airplane once. It's the people that have a parachute that can do it multiple times. So we can see Adak Island, and the runway is going to be somewhere in the vicinity of here. Looks terribly basic right this distance, but it'll look a whole lot nicer once we get up close. Promise. Let's see. So there's a few different options for instrument approaches. But we're just going to do our normal thing and do visual, because that's how I roll. You want to do an instrument type approach, feel free. I will not. It's just something I don't know how to do right yet. So I do what I know, and that's all any of us can do, really. Go ahead and turn our landing lights on just for visibility's sake. Tanakalak. There's a Tanakalak Island. I'm telling you, even these names are kind of throwing me through my paces. So, yeah, there a lot of. I mean, a lot of these are Inuit names. The tall mountain back on this side, I believe, is this one. Or this one. This one or this one. Probably this one. This one is Mount Moffat. And this right here is the Clam Lagoon. And this is the Kuluk Bay. A lot of nice terrain up here. We open this up without breaking. Okay. We're gonna get to that. And that's about where we want to turn 27 or 270 by 230. I'll get my numbers correct one of these days. You'll be impressed. Once we hit that point, we can begin our descent, which I will just turn off the autopilot. At that point. Yeah. This is what I'm running. Just look at it. It's just so wonderful. Coming up, this is the Great Sicken Island. And that's the Great Sicken volcano, along with Triple Divide Peak. So there's some more knowledge for you. Don't you love it when you come to a flight sim stream and end up leaving with extra knowledge? I do. No, it absolutely is. Absolutely is. Okay, so that should be the runway right in there. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, normal service through Adak Airport is typically done with a 737 from Alaska Airlines. Although I imagine that there is an assortment of smaller charters and carriers that bring in food and such, along with the ship. Got a Firefly out there. So, the old runway, by cross-reference a map, should be right in here. So, we're about to the point where we want to hit that 230 turn. Okay, so we're going to go over here, turn that off, we're going to go over here, and we're going to head 230, which should at least put us in the general vicinity and heading of the runway we land on. Barring any minor adjustments, we're going to lower our altitude to 1,500 feet. Actually, we'll just go to 15. Let's go to 1,500 feet. Speed 500 feet a minute. We'll go ahead and adjust our power settings. maintain our vigilance. There's the runway right there. That should be. And just, I mean, I keep mentioning it, but just seeing the currents is just, it's crazy. You know, who would have thought that would make that big of a difference? But that's stuff you could actually see in real life. Okay, I have the runway and we're off to the side a little too much, so we're going to go ahead and just course to 270. I can hit the knob. I have the runway in sight. Okay, so about there, so we'll come in back to 230. That should line us up. Well, we're still off. Runway 23. Because technically there is a second runway, but it's officially closed. So we want runway 23. Firefly up here. Almost lined up. Slowly but surely getting there. Back to 230. Alright, from here, we're going to manually fly the airplane. Head off. Look, we got somebody landing already. A couple people, maybe. Just look at it. What an approach. So I will get landed, get out of the way. Thanks for swinging by, Sentry. I appreciate it, and we can probably spread some community love and send some people your way. No trouble at all, my friend. No trouble at all. So we're a little bit more. Nose up just a bit. Throw a notch of flaps in. Push forward on the yoke to compensate for the pitch up. A lot of up trim in it. That's notch of flaps in. Thank you, Linda. Power in. Over the threshold. Start the rollout. Keep on center line. Keep pressure on the yoke. Small bounce. 17 foot per minute. That doesn't get a whole lot smoother than that. Light a lever back up. Flaps coming up. Find a nice spot to pull off. Pushing lever vital. So we'll go to the first taxiway because that's how we'll do it. Okay, parking brake set. Avionics off, lights off, power lever off. Hit continue. Batteries off, lights off. General traffic tags Yes. And because this is being silly, all right, the runway is open for landing. Whenever everybody is ready. We have Roy Mal inbound. And we're down. Very nicely done. Well, we're ready for you when you get here, Allison. No rush. Fan of that one either. What's this? I heard it. Thought I heard an engine. Oh, I hear somebody. I hear somebody. Who do we got? Who do we got? Who do we got? Hits fast speed 84. Really nice on the right on the center line. And we're down. Very nice. Very nice. It's sizable for sure. USA PR1 in the TBM. Ooh. Very stiff, a little bit of a bounce. Bit of a float. And we're down. Who's up? Who's up? And it's Jet Tech in the Caravan. And, ooh, very nice. Very nicely done. I might reposition this just slightly. There's a bad dog. Coming from a short final. Coming in hot. And we're down. Bounce. And down again. You have a good night, Peter? You're glad you were able to come along for the flight. And we will catch you next time for sure. See, even it's the between the background noises, the ambient, like you can hear the waves splashing, and the engines going by. The sound, the sound engine for the sim is just it's quite astonishing, quite frankly. I hear somebody coming in. Alley cats in the Caravan. There's a nice landing. Very well done. It's like Bad Dog's checking out the scenery. I hear someone else on approach. Over the piano keys is Cap at 9, followed very closely by Dangerous Brian. Not late at all, you arrived right when you should have. No apologies needed. But nice landings by Dangerous Brian and Catbat 9. As we have a quiet War Hamster. This would almost be a great place for the MB339. Nice long runway. And coming in, seemingly last but certainly not least, is the one and only Two-Tone Murphy. On the other side of the camera this time. Very nicely done, my friend. Very nicely done. Kept it on the center line and everything. How about that? So, welcome to Adak, Alaska. Former home to Naval Air Station. Adak. Very long runway. And one main taxiway. Have the tower, we have other facilities. Main terminal building is down there. But if we all want to hop on down, we can get a group photo or at least a parting shot. So, let's see. Ooh, that's a shot. That's a shot and a half. I gotta make sure that it also fits in 1080 for the sake of the stream. Okay, we're gonna turn name tags back off. Go back to resume. As here comes Murphy. But isn't that a shot? Where are you going? Don't leave us. Yeah, glad you enjoy them, Cat-Bat. I'm glad you enjoy them. I enjoy putting them on. It's a nice mental distraction from outdoors. Yeah, I absolutely enjoy to no end the drone camera. I think it's one of the best things they've could have added to the sim. No, absolutely. Taking the sights, it's absolutely worth it. That's just absolutely stunning. Some of the scenery in this sim, it makes you just want to travel the world, even though right now we can't. It's just absolutely crazy. Well, stick around because we're going to raid our good friend Sentry, up and coming friend of mine. Hey, Chippy. Enjoyed watching and eating a whole pack of cheddar biscuits. Nice. We're gonna go ahead on Twitch and raid our friend Sentry. She's up and coming and trying to gain an audience, so I would be remiss if I didn't share mine that has been so kindly shared by Murphy. So on Twitch, stay tuned. But for the most part, until next time, be good to each other, stay safe out there, and we'll catch you next time.